Welcome to Đồng Nai Radio and Television Station. Here come to the news today. On November 27th, at the government headquarters, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính, head of the National Steering Committee for COVID-19 Prevention and Control, chaired an online meeting on importing and manufacturing vaccines and drugs to treat COVID-19 in the country. At the meeting, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính stated that the pandemic is still very complicated. Vietnam has shifted its strategy from zero COVID-19 to safety, adapting flexibly and effectively controlling the disease. The Prime Minister emphasized that practical shows that the effective pandemic prevention and control vaccines are decisive, plus people's awareness is very important. The promotion of the production of vaccines and therapeutic drugs will help strengthening the domestic medical capacity, contributing to the development of the Vietnam pharmaceutical industry. The guiding view of the party and states is also to be determined to reduce domestically produced vaccines and therapeutic drugs to actively prevent and control the pandemic effectively, save the purchase, and demonstrate the intelligence and creativity of Vietnamese people. The Standing Committee of Binh Hoa City Party Committee, Đồng Nai Province, recently had a meeting of COVID-19 prevention and control and an online meeting of the People's Committee of 30 wards and communes to continue implementing solutions to prevent and control the pandemic in the area. Implementing measures to prevent the pandemics. Up to now, Binh Hoa has 42 mobile medical stations, set up a call center to consult, guide the handling and treatment of people infected by COVID-19, and set up 6 mobile F0 treatment teams. Speaking at the meeting, Mr. Võ Văn Chánh, Secretary of the Binh Hoa Party Committee, requested to urgently implementing drastic solutions to curb the pandemic. Warning people not to be negligent, especially notice the process of cooperation of enterprises with local clinics in handling F0 cases. Regarding home cases, leaders of the City Party Committee proposed to continue consolidating human resources for mobile medical stations, establishing more stations in densely populated wards, and strengthening facilities and fully equipped tools with medical equipment, at the same time doing good social security work for people in the area. Deputy Prime Minister Lê Minh Khai recently signed Decree 103 stipulating the level of registration fee for cars manufactured and assembled in the country. Accordingly, from December 1st of this year to May 31st of next year, the registration fee for the first-time payment for cars, trailers or semi-trailers to be towed by cars and similar vehicles manufactured and assembled in the country will be discounted to 50%. From June 1st, 2022, the registration fee rate will return to the previous level. This is the second time in the past 2 years that the registration fee for domestically manufactured and assembled cars continues to reduce by 50% compared to the current regulations. This decision is considered a policy to support people and promote the consumption of car products in the context of impact of COVID-19 pandemic on domestic manufacturing enterprises. Reducing the registration fee will help reduce the cost of rolling stock, thereby stimulating consumer demand in the domestic car market. Due to the concerns about the threat of the Omicron variant, on November 27th, the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, and the U.S. State Department advised people not to go to 8 Southern African countries. Specifically, the CDC adjusted its travel advice to level 4, very high for South Africa, Zimbabwe, Namibia, Mozambique, Malawi, Lesotho, Eswatini, and Botswana, while the U.S. State Department published a "Do Not Come" warning for this group of countries. Earlier on November 22nd, the CDC lowered the travel advisories level for the South Africa to level 1, low. Secretary General Antonio Guterres welcomed recent tripartite meeting between the leaders of Russia, Azerbaijan, and Armenia, and acknowledged Russia's contribution to the settlement of the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict, and the United Nations Secretary General Office says on November 27th. The statement of the Office of the Secretary General of the United Nations reads, "The Secretary General stressed the principal position of the United Nations that lasting peace can only be achieved through dialogue and urged the parties to resolve existing problems in this direction through existing mechanisms. The United Nations stands ready to support these efforts, including the provision of humanitarian aid and the peacemaking on the ground." The meeting between the leaders of Russia, Azerbaijan, and Armenia in Sochi issued a joint statement after nearly 3 hours of discussion on November 26. That's all on the news today. Thanks for watching us. Have a good time. Goodbye.